Hello everyone, welcome to this beautiful park in the middle of Shanghai, China. My name is Antonio and today I'm talking to one of my good friends here in China. His name is Pascal, he's from Switzerland, and actually we had an interesting conversation. We were working together some time ago, and then we're going to be talking about different things, about perceptions of Swiss people, European people when it comes to the culture of China, and how people that has been living in these specific expat communities, sometimes they get to work together, different positions, different jobs, different things. So probably you'll enjoy. In case we have another opportunity to sit together, maybe to discuss other topics, we'll do that. Okay, so enjoy. See you next time. Well, welcome to this beautiful day in Shanghai, China.
Almost raining, but
yeah, it's actually about to rain, but it was very nice a couple of hours ago.
Yeah,
so I'm here today with my friend Pascal Schock.
Hey, nice to meet you guys.
He's from Switzerland. Actually, we were working together some years ago, 2016, and then so we were working in this hospitality management school.
Yeah.
And then that's where we met, and then we've been living here in Shanghai, well, in China for the last, in my case, 10 years, and in your case?
Same, 10 years.
10 years. So we're gonna go, just explaining, or actually just saying a little bit about the experience of, in your case, someone that is coming from a European background and you being Swiss, and then what kind of like comparisons you've seen with the China, and then things that you like, things that you don't like, your visa, your work. Maybe some recommendations for people that want to come and work in China at some point. And then just different things and topics. But first, cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers to you.
To you.
Oh, good to see you. Today we're not working together anymore. So we just catch up like once in a while, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us please a little bit about your background. Before you came to China, what were you doing in Switzerland? How did you hear from China for the first time? Or what's a little bit of a background?
Well, I mean, my background is like fully hospitality. I worked in hospitality in Switzerland, and then in China I started to work in hospitality, and then where we met also was kind of a hospitality school.
Yeah.
So the whole background is kind of within hospitality, right?
Okay, so that's what you were. So you studied that in Switzerland?
Yeah, in Zurich.
In Zurich.
Yeah.
Okay. And you are from where?
Well, I'm all the way from the south of Switzerland, from like near a like tourist destination called Zermatt.
Zermatt. Oh yeah, I've heard. Beautiful scenery, no? Like for
very
skiing
nice,
and
with
stuff.
a Matterhorn and like famous mountains.
Yeah, almost like
very
the
nice
scenery of Beijing. No, because a lot of people come here for actually skiing. That's in North Beijing. Beijing, yeah, I did that last winter. It's not the best, right? But what I've heard is like here in China, there's up north, there's a destination, it's called Qingling.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, Qingling, and people who wants to go and do some skiing,
there are
do that
some
in
places.
China.
Yeah, it's true.
But maybe nothing comparable to Switzerland, right? Coming from
no comments here.
Diplomatic first, as usual.
Exactly. Very
that's
neutral.
The always want to be that. Okay, so you were there. That's your background. I think you were working. You were living as well in the U.S. for some time, right?
Yeah, in Kentucky.
In Kentucky.
But I mean, I was very young at that time.
Say hi to your friends from Kentucky.
In case somebody is listening.
Someone is actually there.
If you're listening, then please comment.
Kentucky VPN. Okay. Yeah. So you were there for how long?
3 years.
3 years.
But that was back in 1996 to 99. Okay. So I was just like a kid at that time.
A kiddo.
Yeah.
From a high school.
No. Like elementary school.
Elementary school.
Yeah.
Okay, so you were there, and then, but you never knew about China, right? So
yeah, it was never really a big topic. Okay. Like also like in my family or like from my surrounding, it was never really a big topic going to China or living in China or anything. So
you were there for 3 years, and then you were back in Switzerland to study hospitality management in Zurich. Yeah. And then how do you decide to come to China in the first place?
I mean, it was really just like an idea that I had because I just wanted to do something else. I know that, I knew that I was interested in Asia to some extent. I wanted to discover Asia a little bit. I liked to travel there. When I was also in high school with friends and stuff, I kind of traveled there. And so I enjoyed, Asia. But China, again, I just chose it because I just wanted to do something else. I didn't want to go work in Thailand at that time.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to go to Bali and like, the typical destinations.
Right.
I just wanted to, discover a bit something else.
So that was 2000 and what?
2014.
13, 14.
14. I arrived in China, I think April or May 2014.
Okay, so at that time, China was going through
Cheers,
a lot of
mate.
transition. Cheers. At the end of this conversation, let's see how many beers we have. So at that time, I think many people referred to what it was used to be called the Wild Wild West of China, like 2013, 14,
I mean, at that
or
time,
even
of
before
course.
maybe, right?
I think so. I think the whole thing started back in 2001, right? When
Yeah.
they joined the WTO, and then kind of China
2001.
started to open up a little bit. Well, not a little bit, but like severely, right?
Yeah.
And then, so it took a bit of time, of course, to kind of get that economy growing. But then by 2013, I mean, it was really very fast growing.
Yeah,
it was the years where China was growing at like 10% a year.
Yeah,
like
it was
that.
always like, I remember saying like double digit China, double digit.
Exactly. Everything was
too
double
many
digit,
years, right? Yeah, when normally the growth of the GDP per country, well, I mean, it's like 5%, 6%,
Yeah, even
7,
not
something.
even
less,
China
right?
or other
no
countries?
other countries. Even
I
less,
mean,
like,
Europe
probably.
didn't grow like 1-2% sometimes, right? So
Because they're already developed, not much
Yeah.
room to grow. Well,
Yeah.
as some people would say. Okay, so you were there. So you came here. So you were first working in where?
Xian, my
Xi'an.
first time flying to China was Xian.
That's
Yeah.
the place of the terracotta warriors.
Right, all the way in the northwest of China.
North, east, west. Okay,
Northwest,
northwest
yeah.
of China.
Yeah, exactly. Terracotta warriors are famous there.
Okay, so you were working there for how long?
Around half a year.
Half a year.
Yeah, I was working for Sheraton there.
Sheraton. Okay, so you were always okay. Yeah, so that's your background,
Yeah,
right?
so
Like
that's the thing,
hospitality,
the whole-
Sheraton. What were you doing there in Sheraton?
I was like a club lounge manager there.
Did they hire you when you were in Switzerland?
Yeah, because with the
from
whole
China,
visa
though?
thing, I mean, it was a bit tricky at that time because, I mean, I think we're going to talk about that later, but the whole visa process obviously is very difficult. So I had to have the job and the visa already when I was in Switzerland to actually come to China.
Okay, because what I've heard sometimes is like they offer different jobs to people, right? So they say just come to China, maybe come with a tourist visa or a student visa, and then once you're here, then we're gonna give you a letter, or whatever, to change the visas.
Yeah, but as being Swiss, I was very scared of doing anything like that.
Yeah, of
So I was
course, of
like,
course.
I was very German at that, for that point.
Like everything needs
to be like organized
by the
and-
book. Yeah, no, exactly.
like this.
And then I remember I've been coming maybe 2-3 different times, and I've been coming. Well, I've been arriving in China in different visas.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
did you do like the student visa or
yeah,
stuff like
I
this?
did a tourist,
tourist visa?
and then tourist to student, and then student
Yeah.
changed to
Working
work
visa.
visa, and that's when we were working there in La Roche.
Yeah.
Okay, well, so that's good. So you said, okay, so you just fix my visa, then I go to the Xian, I work
and,
there.
and like you said, they didn't want to do that because it was like very difficult. So
they didn't want to do that.
They actually asked me to do it via a tourist visa, then just come there and then we're gonna do it.
Oh,
and stuff.
really? Yeah.
But then I didn't
yeah.
want to do it. So it was a bit of a struggle, obviously. But eventually they kind of agreed.
Yeah.
And then things kind of worked out well.
Also because probably they don't want to spend in advance, right? So imagine that they're going through the process of visa, and then at the end the person would say, no, actually I don't want.
Yeah, probably
So
also, right.
They also they just want you to come and then fix it here.
Yeah, and, and I think it's also much more paperwork for them to do.
Yeah.
If they really hire somebody, right?
Yeah. So that was with what, Marriott? No.
Yeah.
Marriott.
I mean nowadays it's
Xian.
Marriott, but at that time it was still Starwood.
Starwood.
Yeah, but then kind of Starwood
Xian.
got bought out by Marriott a few years back. and
Okay.
so now it's all Marriott. So
then, so after 6 months, you change jobs?
yeah,
What
I
do you-
went to Sanya.
Sanya.
So
right,
that's
right.
a good thing. Obviously, working in one of those hotel chains.
Tell us where is
that-
Sanya?
Yes, so Sanya is all the way down in the south of China. It's on the island just next to Vietnam. So it's like the tropical island of China. A little bit. They call it like
The Hawaii of China.
Hawaii of China, exactly. Yeah.
That's one of the main destinations for Chinese people if they want to go to the best possible beach in China. Then they would go there, right?
Yeah.
But of course with the same amount of money, same budget, maybe you can go to Thailand.
No, you can live
go
like a
to-
king in Thailand because
Yeah.
then Sanya is very expensive.
Yeah. So you were there in Sanya. So you resigned, then you went to
It wasn't
Sanya
really a
with job.
resignation because it was like an internal transfer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so because it was
from the
like
same
for
company?
Marriott, yeah. So it was within
right.
Marriott, same company, but then different hotel.
So it was a Starwood first in Xian? And then
yeah,
you
Starwood,
moved to...
and then it was still Starwood when I moved to Sanya, but a different brand of Starwood. So in Xian, I was working for Sheraton, and then in Sanya, I was working for St. Regis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
right.
but it's
So
like the same company.
Sheraton and St. Regis. Which one is better? Sounds to me St. Regis.
I mean, St. Regis is a bit more luxury. Yeah.
How much is the room?
In
Per night?
Sanya?
Yeah, in St. Regis, Sanya.
Yeah, no, it's very expensive.
Per night?
I mean, if you go in the high season, like Chinese New Year and stuff, maybe it's like $3,000, $4,000, $5,000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no, it's insane.
St. Regis,
it's very crazy.
Sanya.
It's very crazy.
Okay.
And then if you go in the off season, maybe it's like $600, $700 to $1,000 for like a standard room, right?
Okay.
But then, you know,
Yeah, it's expensive.
on the top is like endless, right?
So what were you doing there? What was your position?
So there I was working as a manager of a fine dining restaurant and 2 bars.
And 2 bars.
Yes, a restaurant bar
So,
manager.
okay, so the visa was not an issue? They were not changed from...
No, it was
because
okay.
it was the same...
I think once you're in
internal
China,
process.
yeah, once you're in China and you don't change a lot on your job, you know, like if you stay within the same area of your job, I think it's not very difficult to actually change. So it's like a visa transfer. They don't actually have to apply for a new job and stuff.
Yeah.
So once you're in China and once you have a visa, it's not really difficult to change your job.
Yeah.
Unless you change like
position sometimes.
I mean, if you change the industry, maybe, let's say for us, maybe we worked in hospitality and then we changed to education. That can be like very tricky.
Yeah, that's what happens actually to some of us later. Later on the story.
Yeah, but if you're, let's say, working in a school and you change a school, or you work in a hotel and you change hotels, then it's fairly easy.
Yeah. Okay, so you were there in St. Regis, Sanya.
Sanya.
For how long?
A year.
1 year.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it was like 13 months, a year and 1 month or something like that. Yeah.
1 day and 3 hours.
Yeah, and 17 seconds.
Okay, so you were there, and then how was it? How was,
I mean, it was
which one do you like
nice.
better, Xian or Sanya?
I think Xian is culturally more interesting.
Yeah.
So you can actually visit the
Charlatan.
Bing Mayong, right?
Mayong.
The terracotta warriors, and you know, so Xinjiang is like, I mean, it's almost like on the border to like the deserts and stuff. So it's culturally very interesting. It has historically been like a very important city.
Yeah,
and it's a very Chinese city. It's not like Shanghai, which is a fairly like open and Western city.
Yeah.
Xi'an is really like kind of Chinese.
Is that the same, if I remember correctly, is that the same when there's like some sort of little buildings around the city?
Yeah.
That's the one, right? Yeah.
So it's a city, and it's not the building, but it's like the wall, the defensive
like the
wall.
antique wall.
Yeah,
or
the ancient
whatever.
wall.
Oh yeah.
Which was there for like
Oh yeah,
hundreds of
because you
years,
can
right?
even rent some bicycle.
around,
Yeah, and then you go around. I did that. Yeah.
You did that?
Yeah, I did that. I did that.
Yeah,
I went like 2000 and many years ago, maybe 2017, something
So
like that.
if you still remember, I was just living on the west gate of that wall.
Oh yeah, maybe because it's quite
The west gate's kind of
known.
nice there. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's good. And then I remember when I went from Shanghai to maybe Beijing, I forgot. But actually, you just take a bullet train. For example, now from Shanghai to Xi'an, how long it would take you?
I don't really know about Xi'an, but if you go to Beijing, it's like 5 hours or something.
Yeah, from Shanghai to Beijing all the way north, it's like 5 hours in bullet
which is
train.
insane because it's
And
like,
it's quite good. The price is good.
the prices are expensive, but
how much is that? Maybe 400, 500 yuan?
No, yeah, maybe 6, 7.
Okay,
5,
so
6
that's
maybe.
times two, maybe in dollars, maybe 6. No, in dollars, how much?
$80.
I can see the
Is it?
numbers. Maybe $80,
right? Something
okay.
like that. Is it? Yeah,
Maybe
something like that. Maybe.
In yuan, we know it's around 500 yuan, depending on what's the
Yeah,
currency
so
change.
500
because,
yuan is $75.
you know, like many years ago when I arrived, the exchange of the yuan to Mexican peso, it goes double. One yuan, it will give you 2 pesos. Then, yeah, it used to. And then maybe 2 years ago, 1 yuan will give you 3 pesos. Mexican
now?
pesos. So for me, for example, an exchange of salary.
Well, for you, it's very nice.
Yeah,
then.
for me it was quite good because the salary was like going to 2/3 or 3/3. Oh, I mean, not thirds, but 2 times or 3 times. But now it's going back down.
So now
it's
how
like
much is it?
2.5, 2.3.
So you're earning less again.
Than 2 years ago, but more than 10. So, I mean, yeah, you can always.
I mean, you're still lucky because for me, it's like it's horrible exchanging it to like Swiss francs.
To Swiss francs.
Because the Swiss franc has been like so strong in the last few years.
Oh,
So
yeah,
usually when I exchange, like in the last few years, I exchange it as like 1 Swiss franc is like 6.4 renminbi maybe.
6.4. Oh, it's almost like dollar.
So obviously,
was,
if you work abroad or if you're planning, that's gonna kind of affect.
Yeah, especially need to consider like the currencies and like where you're working, right? Like if you compare to Switzerland or you compare someone else coming from different places, probably, for example, the regular salary in Switzerland, maybe it's not comparable to a regular salary in China.
In China,
right?
Of course, but
especially in Xian.
The cost of living also is very different, right?
Yeah. Okay, so you were there in Sanya. You were working there for a year. So at this point, you already have some sort of experience living in China. You get to know the culture. What was one of the biggest shock that you have when you arrived? Shock like your last name. What was one of the biggest?
I tell you, it's really difficult to say because
there were too many of them.
No, yeah. First of all, that, and second of all, if you go to China, you kind of get ready for the worst.
Taking it,
At that time, I mean, we didn't really know anything, right?
Yeah.
So you're like, well, I'm going to China to live there. So your mind is kind of ready for the worst.
But also little brackets. You were coming from the Swiss Army, right? You were saying?
Yeah,
they kind of like prepare you for tough times. No, you were
saying maybe before? So that helped probably, right?
Okay, you're in the right mindset to take whatever it comes.
Exactly,
it comes.
Exactly.
Okay, so you arrived to China and then?
I mean, generally it was okay. I mean, of course, there's some like maybe things that you don't like or that you're not used to, or some food that maybe that you're not so used to. But generally, it wasn't really a big shock. Like, even until now.
You say it wasn't, or
no, it was not.
It was not. Was that?
I think it was like
in Asia, in China.
No, in China, but not in Asia. So I've been to like Thailand already.
Before
to Indonesia, before that.
Okay.
Bali, Indonesia, like this.
So there was not like a big shock that
it wasn't like
wow, look at that.
Yeah, I know that sounds like very disappointing to talk about here, but it wasn't like a very big shock.
Yeah, no, I mean definitely because it's good to know, because probably some people they feel like, and we've been living here for many years already, and then sometimes I see things that maybe they don't caught my attention that often.
Yeah,
as some people that comes in a tourist, right? Yeah. But in your case, maybe, for example, if you're traveling within Asia, like Thailand or Indonesia or something like that, then you don't have such a big shock. In my case,
and it has also to do with, I think, expectations, like with what mind you come to another place, right? I mean, for here, of course, like what's a huge difference is, let's say, the people, let's say between Mexico or Switzerland and the people in China, like this. Obviously, there's like a cultural difference, but if you're okay kind of to deal with it, I don't think it's a big problem, right?
Also, a little bit to do with your experiences before that point, because, for example, I was gonna say, like, in my case before China, so I also...
But you even lived in Vietnam.
Yeah, that's the point. I also didn't have like a big shock because I was living in Vietnam.
Yeah, exactly.
So actually, when I was there working in Hanoi, I was working for a year and living in Hanoi. So that was a little bit my first time in Asia, a little bit of a bigger shocks that I had there. And then when I came to China, it was more like, So
I think that's a good point, right? So as an example, if you're from the States or if you're from Europe and you've never traveled out of, let's say, the US, or you never traveled out of Mexico, and then you come to China, you're probably going to be like, you can't believe what's happening, right?
Everything like
everything is either
Chinese
terrible or fantastic or weird or whatever.
Yeah.
But if you've traveled a little bit,
then probably not much.
You're going to be totally okay.
Especially if you've been in Asia before, probably it's not. Okay, so
it depends also where you go. I have to say, like, it depends where you go or where you live within China. As example, now we live in Shanghai. I mean, no problem.
Yeah,
I mean, everybody can live here. It's really no problem.
There's everything. I mean, there's everything around.
Everything. I mean, we're drinking like imported beers and we're having like burgers just now and a pizza. So, I mean, there's no problem really. And people are behaving good. You can see behind us, right? It's clean and everything. Yeah. Except for the wires you mentioned earlier. But
yeah, exactly.
Generally, I mean, it's no problem.
Like very international. Here in Shanghai, we have like maybe more than 10 Mexican restaurants.
And 2 or 3 Swiss.
Also? 2 or 3?
Yeah. Swiss,
or just the Swiss butchery?
No, but that's not a restaurant, but that's actually a Swiss butchery that is like importing meat and stuff,
Yeah.
right? And making like Swiss sausages.
The thing is, like, there are many little mini bubbles within the Shanghai community, right?
Yeah. Even nowadays, even though a lot of people left already, right?
Yeah,
During
exactly.
COVID,
Yeah.
a lot of people left, but still it's...
Please don't say that word.
Oh, sorry. During the... a lot
Exactly.
of people left.
During the
Yeah, exactly.
Now, during COVID, it was a little bit tough because many of our friends actually they get to go, and many restaurants they were still paying the rent, which was very expensive, but without
crazy.
having it open. There was some sort of subsidies, I think, for some commercial buildings.
But I don't know exactly. I mean, I would be over asked like how it exactly works.
Yeah,
because there are different like maybe regulations or policies in different areas within Shanghai on which government pays where, how much, and stuff. For sure is that a lot of those restaurants they struggled.
Yeah. So at this point you were in Xian, then you were in Hainan. You were there for a year, 13 months.
And,
say? And then what did you do?
Yeah, and then afterwards again I had an internal transfer going to Shanghai.
Oh, within the same
Marriott. Within Starwood. It was still Starwood at that time. So within Starwood again.
So you moved where? To
Shanghai.
To Shanghai.
Yeah.
Okay, from
Sanya.
From Sanya to Shanghai.
Yeah.
Which hotel in Shanghai?
It was the old St. Regis in Pudong.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Again, St. Regis.
Yeah.
It was the same. St. Regis, St. Regis.
Now it's not a St. Regis anymore because they built a new one in Puxi, I think.
Okay.
So they rebranded it. But at that time was old.
Again, probably the change of a visa maybe was smooth because there
didn't
no
even
change whatever.
nothing.
Yeah. Okay.
And usually, if you're interested to work here, usually the HR that wants to hire you, they will take care of everything. So you don't really need to bother too much with any visa applications or work permits or stuff.
Did they give you options to move to different provinces, or you asked Shanghai?
Yeah, I asked Shanghai.
Oh yeah.
Because I thought it would be good, like, to go to like a decent city.
Actually,
because
it's good that you.
Sanya and like,
Yeah. Actually, it's good the way you did because it's Xian, Sanya, Shanghai.
Yeah.
If you'd have started the other way around,
then you're gonna have a culture
where
shock within China. Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
So that was good.
So
And
you were
then-
there in St. Regis, Shanghai. For how long?
Again, like roughly a year. Yeah, probably about
like
a year.
What was your position there?
Restaurant manager.
Restaurant manager.
Exactly. It was like a Italian restaurant.
Okay.
And then I was
Climbing up the ladders of the managerial
So.
position.
Not that much. But
Okay, so that's good. So you enjoy Shanghai? Was a big difference between these cities, like Xian?
I mean, it was a
Hainan
huge
and-
change from Sanya to Shanghai, obviously.
Yeah.
Because so Sanya is like a tropical small.
I haven't been to, but I've heard it's good.
It's nice. I mean, I think it's nice like to travel there, but maybe it's not that fantastic to work there. Like a lot of like tourist destinations would be, right?
Yeah.
If you go to Maldives for holiday, it's fantastic, but then to work there maybe it's not.
I was working some months in Cancun, and everyone would say, "Oh, Cancun."
Yeah. But then you still enjoyed working there, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, I still enjoyed it because it was like also a few months during my university days. So it was nice. Yeah, we had a good fun
Little
there.
parties there.
Little parties going on. Hey, so okay, so you were there in St. Regis, Shanghai, one more year.
Yeah.
How was life at the time? I mean, you liked it, you enjoyed
it was good. I mean, I enjoyed Shanghai. That's why I'm still here, because Shanghai is just like a nice city and you can do a lot of stuff. And I mean, it's interesting, right?
Hey, so from your view, for example, from I mean, if you were to compare different variables, like some people they say like China with Mexico in my case, or China with Spain in the case of a friend, or China with Switzerland, like the lifestyle, the standard of the way of living. What would you say like pros and cons? If you be living now back in Switzerland, how do you think would be as hectic as China, or you see yourself going back?
Maybe. Yeah. I think like maybe your lifestyle, because like I mean China has changed a lot since happened, right?
COVID.
And I think now your lifestyle maybe in Switzerland or going back to Europe or Mexico, maybe you would actually have a nicer lifestyle than at the moment. I'm kind of hoping that China kind of recovers more.
Yeah.
And that like there are more like foreigners coming back and gets like more international again and stuff. Because it hasn't really 100% recovered. I feel. I obviously don't have the statistics.
No, they haven't. I mean,
but it just feels like it hasn't really.
They're opening
recovered.
up visas for a lot of countries with no visa actually.
Yeah, so that says a lot, right?
Yeah.
For China opening up visa free says a lot. So people don't really want to come here anymore.
Yeah.
I guess, which is a pity, right?
I'm having a friend coming in September, Chucho,
Oh, nice.
He's coming from his little honeymoon with Jessica, and yeah, so it's good because now, yeah. So finally,
Where's the honeymoon?
Well, they're going to actually Xian.
Oh my God, they're going for a
and
honeymoon
they're going
in the
to
year?
so they're coming to. Well, they're arriving
Nice.
first in Hong Kong.
Uh-huh.
Then they're going to Beijing, then Xian, then Shanghai.
Ah, that's
So we're gonna
good.
be doing a little tour. 2
Are you
weeks.
gonna travel with them?
2 weeks, maybe at least in one spot.
If you can, yeah.
So when you go and ask for a visa to travel to China, depending on where you're from, they're gonna give you issue the visa, right? I think for Mexico.
You have visa free for Mexico?
No,
Oh,
no.
that's
We need to go to the embassy.
Yeah.
For Mexicans, apply. You need to. Okay, so because you cannot make reservations, you don't need to. How do you say that? You
Make a
don't need to
reservation?
book an appointment.
yeah. Oh, you don't have to.
No, you don't have.
Ah,
to.
that's
What
okay,
you
okay.
do is you just
Go there and wait
go
in
the
line.
line. Yeah, but people is lining
That's
up
even
from
much
like
worse
2 in the
then.
morning.
Oh my God.
3 in the morning.
So then it's
4 in the
much better
morning.
if you have to make a booking, bro.
In a way, but then you will never find it. So you know, at least you know, like if you really want it, you can go next day in the night and people is camping there. You know, really, since like 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning. And then because they only come and they give like 150 spots, like little pieces for the first
Per
150
day.
people per day.
And
yeah.
then the rest go home.
And then the rest go home. Try tomorrow.
Oh my God.
So,
So imagine you go there instead of 2:30 in the morning, you go at 3 and then you don't get your ticket.
Yeah, so next day just try 1:30 or whatever. But they're agents that you can have. That's what's happening now
right.
in
They
the
just wait there
embassy.
for you and
Yeah. So you can do that.
So how much does that cost?
The visa?
No,
the
like the
I don't
agent?
know. I'm gonna be looking into it soon because I'm gonna put him in touch with some friends. And maybe so I'm gonna see what's the process of the agency, because normally it's not difficult. I mean, I've done it a couple of times, so it's not difficult at all. But sometimes it helps the procedures. Also, you need to go to the embassy in Mexico City. Some people is not from Mexico. I'm from Puebla, blah blah. So it takes a little bit of things. From Switzerland, you still need
We're
to apply.
visa free now.
Visa free?
Yeah.
How many days?
It's crazy because my brother just came to visit me like a month ago, a bit less than a month maybe. And then he still had to go through the visa process, everything. He paid like $300-400 to get the visa.
$300-400?
Yeah.
For paying the visa?
Yeah. I mean, that's what he
come?
said. I don't know. Maybe he got like a very like emergency visa or something. I don't know exactly. He said it was very expensive, $300-400. And then, so he was here for like a week. He went also to Hong Kong and then Shanghai for a week. And then he left, and like 2 days after he left, they announced that it's visa free.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So he was a bit not upset, but he was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
I just paid like $300, and then 2 days later it's visa free.
Yeah. So that's good. Like, I mean, at least like now they're opening up for different
which is
countries to
also
come and
good.
visit. Yeah.
Anyway, that's good.
So
to do, yeah.
okay, so then after the San Regis Shanghai, you changed jobs.
Yeah, so that's where we met then, right?
La Roche.
Yeah.
You
So-
were gonna say the name of it.
No.
Yeah.
Keep
So
it
we
a
met
secret.
there in the Swiss Hospitality
school.
Management School.
Yeah.
Actually, La Roche, they have branches where?
Oh, they have the main branch in Switzerland.
Switzerland,
And then they have one in Marbella,
Marbella,
Shanghai.
Spain, Shanghai.
And then they used to have one in Chicago, I think.
Yeah,
And they used to
yeah.
have one in Dubai.
I just asked now in the event, alumni event. So they say they're opening up now the one
In Abu
in Abu
Dhabi.
Dhabi.
Yeah,
In
so
Abu Dhabi.
that's also kind of in plan. It's not open yet, right?
I think they just signed. They just signed. But it's under the Summit Education Program, whatever it is.
Oh, is
yeah.
it?
But yeah, so this is a hospitality management school, and then they have in different places. So that's where we met.
Yeah.
So you were there for
8 years or something.
No, 8 years. No, I was 5 or 6.
No.
How come you were
Come on,
8 years?
2016 until now.
Well,
Which is 8 years.
I'm out
You
6
left earlier than me.
yeah, I lived 2021.
Oh, wait. 7 years maybe.
Me, I did 5.5. I know, you can
When did
check
you
my
leave?
contract. 2021.
Can I see the contract?
Yeah. Because in my case,
2021? I left
Half.
2023.
yeah, well, maybe. Because I moved from La Roche, Switzerland, I moved to the Australian, Australian Zhejiang.
Yeah, because you worked in Xian first.
Yeah, Qiandahu, that's the Zhejiang. And then I resigned that one, and then I came to Shanghai, and then I got stuck into the COVID era of 2022.
In Shanghai.
Right in Shanghai, and then I lost 1 semester of work. So because I was in between works,
they didn't do your visa.
I resigned one, and then I was working with the other visa now. But then they were saying, yeah, just come. But I couldn't because Shanghai was
locked down.
I was locked down.
So that was crazy because you literally, I mean, the streets were literally barricaded.
Yeah.
So even if you had to go, I mean, yeah, I mean, whatever, you just couldn't do anything.
Yeah. Actually, tough times for some people. Like if you will get sick at that time, they will take you to the central quarantine
Okay, so just
station.
talking about without saying names. But one of our good friends, his wife was pregnant. Yeah, without saying names, right? His wife was pregnant.
Okay.
Because privacy matters. We won't name any names.
Okay.
So yeah.
Oh right,
Yeah.
I know.
So she
You
was
mean?
she was like
Yeah.
pregnant. She
Halfway.
gave birth during COVID.
Yeah. That's
And like she's Russian, right? Oh, too much information. No, and then yeah, it was like a drama because like she had to like fight to go to the hospital to give birth.
At
right?
that time, you needed to go out, and also like remember that the language is a little bit of a barrier, right? So if you don't communicate perfectly what you want to say, they're just gonna be saying, "Oh, this person foreigner, they just want to go out," and then no, I mean it's actually important.
I'm giving birth.
Yeah,
and they're like, no.
Yeah, exactly.
I know what you're gonna say, right?
I mean, it was a little bit tough. So, which brings the next question.
Oh, very serious.
So, in terms of communication, like when you have some sort of a troubles and stuff, how's your Chinese going?
那我没有问题，我会说中文。
会说中文吗？
是的呀，没问题的。
干杯啊！
干杯！Cheers！
Cheers！ 我们的中文差不多一样的。你们也是 HSKR？
我没有。
我也有那个 HS， 我也有
HSK3 是吧？
差不多是23。
Okay, we're gonna cut that out because it's very embarrassing. Because we're very bad at Chinese.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing that maybe.
I mean, but comparable to
a lot of other foreigners maybe are okay, but still. I mean, that's the thing. Like, and it applies like for every country or culture. Like, you need to learn the language. I mean, like much better than actually we do. Like the more you can talk, obviously the easier your life is here in China, and the more like comfortable everything gets. For us, still like living here sometimes is a struggle because we're just not good enough in Chinese.
Yeah, you just like try to say, and then they take like fun or whatever. It's good. So yeah, and also it's one of these languages that you cannot just pick it up as easy as other languages in the street. So you kind of need to study. Yesterday I was talking to Max, my friend, the Mexican. He was saying that one of his habits is that he's studying every day Chinese for the last maybe 4 or 5 years. Actually, he's like maybe HSK maybe 5.
Oh, so then he's good. He's like no problem.
Yeah, there's no problem. But he also feels like still trying.
I mean, you can also learn a bit more.
Yeah, there's never like you cannot cap the.
So does he make his videos in Chinese?
He could, yeah, he could. There's some videos that he uploads and it's in Chinese full on. Yeah, it's good.
That's
Quite
good.
good, right? Like new habits that people get when you're here. So
that's the thing.
What's your new habit?
Having a beer with my friend making YouTube videos.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, something that you learn that you actually like of people day-to-day ritual or behaviors in China.
I mean, it's all just a habit, right?
Like what?
You just need to get into it. Like studying Chinese. We're just not doing it because we're lazy.
But something you've done? Not really. Not as a habit, but something you changed in your own since you've been in China or not?
No, not really.
Not really, right?
You?
What I was when we had COVID the first time, because they stopped and when we were in the rush, we used to go to work right every day, but then they changed the classes to online. So we couldn't go to school, so we were just teaching online every day. So I was like, okay, so what am I gonna do? So what I did is I bought in Taobao this calendar. I think I told you. Then I just put in my wall the calendar. And then I was just trying to say, okay, at least a day, I want to read at least 2 hours or 1 hour.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Yeah, so per day, I was just like checking.
But 2 hours a day is, well, because we had nothing else to do, right?
Yeah. At
least you do something. Well, you did your doctorate during COVID, so that was a good thing to do, right?
Actually. So because I would just feel like, great. I was just feeling like there was so much time. And I was like, okay, so what can we do? So I was doing these little habits every day in the morning, like, reading, maybe at least 2 hours.
And that was really important during that COVID time because we were really just like at home every day, at home. You couldn't go out. And then I have a dog, so we were like secretly sneaking out to at least let the dog walk. Lady.
Lady.
Yeah, to let the dog walk a little bit. So having a little bit of structure was like really important at that time.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's all free range. Like
You just get lazy
Yeah.
and like do nothing anymore.
It could be so comfortable,
You're just
right?
rotten at home.
Yeah. But that's why, I mean, at least we took advantage. You also started congratulations, your PhD.
Yeah, not a PhD, but an EDD.
EDD is Doctor in Education.
Education. Yeah.
So actually, that's what we started. So we met there in the Hospitality Management School. We were there for some years, and then we changed. So I moved works. Where do you go?
Well, me too, no?
After Le Roche, where did you go?
Well, I went to like Shanghai University here, which has a cooperation with some British schools.
British school,
It's a University of Shanghai for Science and Technology, USST. And so they have a cooperation with some of the British universities, with 9 British universities.
Oh, with 9.
Yeah,
that's interesting because when I was in Beijing, I used to be teaching the Singaporean program as well, and they have cooperation with 2 universities, Coventry and Sunderland from the UK. For some reason, students at some like high school or in some college level in university, they have some sort of a joint ventures with the UK universities, right?
Yeah, because then they get some UK degrees afterwards, right? So that's very good, of course.
It's great
and
for
they studied in English and it's very good.
Yeah, because they still stay in China, but then they have a degree from the UK, and then they have access to people in the UK. All the information is like this. So it's quite good. Okay, so you're there now.
Now just working a little bit.
Yeah. So
looking forward to summer holidays.
It's interesting because you changed actually all of your career from Marriott and Regis, all of the background in hospitality, now to change to education.
Yeah. I mean, first hospitality and hospitality education, and then now
education. Yeah, that's a good transition. So, how do you see that transition? You like it? It's good.
Yeah,
you enjoy?
The best ever.
Yeah, right.
I mean, okay, that's very aggressive to say, but I mean, it's just very different.
No, but it is
obviously. It's just very different, right? Hospitality is like it's super good. It's nice. It's still my passion. I still like it, but it's tough. So I think giving being involved in the education of hospitality is very valuable, obviously. I don't know how many of you watching maybe are working in hospitality. I've worked in hospitality for 10, 12 years. It's just very tough, and it's important that we can actually educate future managers of being able to manage those processes better, because it's not a problem of hospitality itself, it's just a problem of how we manage it, right? So being able maybe to educate future managers down the road somewhere and giving them some better insights could be very valuable for everybody working in that industry, right?
And many of the students of La Roche, actually, they are like a very high positions in different
many of them, right?
Of course, even in Mexico, I remember. Okay, so
you have like a great influence on maybe the future of hospitality, right?
Yeah, I like that as well. I like that. So how many hours do you remember you used to work when you were in operations? You remember a number?
No, endless.
Yeah, really?
No, I mean,
I told you
endless. I said una hostia. No, I mean regular days would be like 11, 12 hours, regular ones. And then if there would be like New Year and stuff, you just wouldn't go home, right? You would just be working like 20 hours.
Here in China, is it the same comparable working hours with operations? Let's say in the same industry, right?
Yeah.
You work in a hotel in China and then you work in a hotel in Switzerland.
Yeah.
What's the difference in terms of hours?
I would say Switzerland is much tougher.
Really?
Than China, because in China, most hotels, or at least the good hotels that let's say most of you guys would work for if you come here, wouldn't have that much of a pressure from like labor cost. So a lot of hotels here are like what we would call overstaffed for like European or American standards. So everybody can work a little bit less probably. But let's say in Switzerland, labor is so expensive that like there's this really high pressure on performance for most of the people working in hospitality, because there's just nobody else to do the work, right? So in Switzerland, I would work much more than in China.
Yeah, wow. Because here also like they have this some sort of what is it called? It's like a saying that you work in China 966. No,
but that's more like for the tech. But that's more for the tech industry, I think. I think tech industry here in China is very tough, or used to be very tough. I think they changed some regulations and stuff. But it used to be like, what is it? From 9 in the morning to 9 in the night, 6 days
I
a
just
week.
remember now because at the university that I'm working, there's a professor that he just wrote a book. And the title of his book, it was 9 to 5.
Oh.
9 to 5.
That sounds
and then
nice.
when he came and then he preferred when he, we just have like a meeting there. So I'm working in the entrepreneurial hub in one of the university, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he came to say, look, I just published this book and stuff. And then the Chinese people, they say, why do you write 9 to 5? It was 9 to 6. And they're like, oh, what, really? And he's like, yeah. And everyone kind of like agree. Yeah, it's 9 to 6. Why 9 to 5? So I was like, I think he then wanted to change the title. So I was like,
but he published it already.
Yeah, it's gone. I mean, finished. He said, oh, my next book, blah, blah, whatever, like little jokes. But then they said, like, supposed to be like maybe 9 to 6. And they were like, okay. Like normally for specific jobs, maybe you get to work many more hours than in other places in terms of efficiency or something like that. Because if we look at numbers, for example, of different countries, like the Germans, they work how many hours per week? The Swiss, they work how many hours per day? The Mexicans, how many hours per week? And then I think the Nordic countries,
They work the least? No, I think the French also don't work much, right?
The French. Right?
Sorry.
Yeah. But the least.
Is it Nordic one?
In Swiss, in Swedish, in
Sweden?
Swedish people, yeah. In Sweden, I think is the ones that they work more efficiently, let's say.
So that's the thing, right? Let's say in Switzerland.
Maybe 30-something. 30-something.
Because there's like a big shift in like the way we think about working in most let's say European countries. It's not that you need to work like a lot of hours. I mean, still a lot of people have to, obviously.
Yeah.
But I mean, a lot has to do with efficiency, right?
Yeah.
And how efficient you work, and then here, just a lot of things are not being done very efficiently. Yeah. So that's why people spend a lot of time actually at work, or also like a bit maybe also what happens in Japan, right? Is that people just have to stay there as long as the boss stays there, and then the boss feels like he needs to stay there because still everyone is there. And then it's like a circle of everyone needs to stay because everyone's still there.
Same with Korean culture.
Yeah, Korea, Japan.
Like they say, hey, let's go to the KTV after, and everyone needs to go to the KTV.
Yeah, and then it's like work time in KTV.
Guys, like we work tomorrow, but the boss is here, so we
cannot go home early.
And he's telling us cheers, so you need to drink the little bai chow, or whatever it is, the Korean. Oh no, soju. Yeah, so it's good, like different, interesting cultures, like in Asian stuff. So, is there anything that, like a misconception that you have of China? You thought something, and then when you came to China, it was different?
Almost any city in Shanghai is like very well developed. There has been like so much money pumped into. Like we have this conception of China, at least like when I came here, that is like very underdeveloped, and that there's like, I don't know, like that everything is dirty and stuff like this. But then it's really, really not like that. Right? Yeah. It's really like well developed. Yeah. It's better developed than most cities in Europe, that maybe.
They tell themselves that they're developed, right? So a developing country, as it's apparently like labeled China, sometimes in many different rubrics, it's even much higher than developed countries.
Yeah, I know, for sure, right? For sure.
So something that I can see in my case, for example, in terms of safety and security in the streets, like compared to China. So here is no problem.
Unbelievable.
It's really not an issue. Like phones can be there in the other table, and
I can put my phone here.
Yeah.
Put your phone there. And nobody's gonna take it.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna take it.
I mean, it has happened.
I could almost bet. I mean,
put it and then it's gonna be the camera.
I have it on camera. No, but really, like, there is just, I mean, the chance that you get like robbed or beaten or anything here is just, you can walk in the middle of the night through the creepiest alley and
what do you think is that? Because of
things
scare?
We cannot talk about. No, because there's obviously a certain amount of control happening here.
Right? So, okay, a way, something that is a little bit of criticized for people that it's a lot of control, but at the same time, in the other side of the coin, in the positive side, then it's bringing you this.
I mean, the thing is that like you said, but like different cultures have like different understandings of what is important.
Yeah.
Let's say, I know, like in Switzerland, like for us, it's very important, like to be free and do whatever we want and stuff, and that's fantastic. But then there's like flip side to that, right? That things also get maybe Switzerland maybe is not a good example for that, but I mean, some countries maybe they prefer freedom over safety or whatever, and that's totally fine. But then maybe Chinese culture would prefer to give up some of the freedom for safety. And there's not really anything inherently bad about it. It's just like different cultural preferences, maybe.
Yeah. You
like
say,
people here would say like, I don't care, as long as it's safe in the night, I don't care if there's a camera, right?
Yeah.
And then that's okay for the people here, and why bother with it, right? If people actually want that.
Yes, the positive side of things is much better than the negative things, like giving away a little bit of your privacy. I believe that's at least how I see it as well. Even though, you know, like we might have like ideas like, cheers.
Sorry for interrupting.
No. Like ideas about like, yeah, but I don't want them to check my phone and stuff. They're doing it everywhere anyways, in every country. The difference is like here is a little bit more acceptance. Or probably in other countries, don't you think they're already looking into the information of people? For sure, no?
Yeah. Just maybe a little bit more in different countries, a bit less in different, but generally I think it doesn't really matter. I think what's the kind of the issue is that what's being done with the information that maybe they look at, how is that being utilized afterwards, right? That could be maybe an issue. But I think we both don't like understand that much about it to really give, like we don't know what, let's say, the Swiss government does with information and the Chinese government really does with information. So I mean, it's just like speculation.
Yeah, true. Also take it with a grain of salt, because for example, let's say our how did you call our genre is in education, so maybe we don't have to deal too much with the specific work hours on industrial companies and stuff. So maybe in our case, like the way we do day to day, how we use it, we don't find like big issues.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Maybe other people would have their own like, no, of course it's like this or something. So
yeah, exactly. And depends your personal like viewpoint of that, right?
But okay, so that's one thing. So when you were there now in this school, you've been there working for 2 years, right?
No, less than a year.
Oh really? So that's why I just said.
Yeah, 2023. I was still working in Leroy.
You know. So
until
I moved in 2021. So yeah, that's the difference.
2 years.
Yeah, it's 2 years.
I didn't know.
Okay, so you're thinking maybe stay there for some time. You like it?
Yeah, maybe. Let's see how things develop and how things work out. And I can't say too much. Public. No. But
okay.
Yeah, I'm interested to see. I'm okay. Usually, I don't mind to work for a few years for a company. I did like my fast jumps and fast changes like when I was young. Now I don't mind to work for a few years somewhere.
Okay, so that's good. In my case, I think something that happens to many expats in China is that you say, okay, I'm gonna stay maybe one more year. You get like stuck and then when you notice it's been already 10 years.
I came here to China the first time and I said, I'm just gonna come half a year to do a little bit of experience and to learn a bit of Chinese, and then I go back. Yeah, now 10 years later we're having this interview, right?
Yeah, because
so
everything
it's easy to get stuck.
Kind of like keep making sense to stay one more year, you know? Like for example, even in my case, I've been looking for different options as well. And then when I compare the different variables of things that care for me or to me, then I still kind of like check boxes more in this side that if I compare it with another option.
What kind of things would you like?
For example, for me, style of lifestyle, you know.
But you could have a better lifestyle in Mexico, maybe?
Maybe somewhere there, you know, like maybe somewhere there, like what we're having here. Also,
I mean, the thing is also that, let's say, maybe your salary here, let's say the lifestyle that you can have here, maybe would be better. Yeah, I mean, maybe would be better because, like, you would actually maybe earn more here. Than, I don't want to go too much in detail, obviously, but like lifestyle obviously has to do with like how much income you have and stuff, right?
Yeah,
so that would obviously kind of matter.
For sure. Yeah, and then I was also considering, right, like last time, for example, last year when I was there in Mexico, there's some options, but then still when I try to put pros and cons from each one of the specific jobs here and this one here, then it's still, not even slightly, but it's still like
China heavy, right?
Like still a little bit heavy. And then I say, okay, even though there are many more variables here, for example, that I would like, to go back, like friends and family and stuff.
Yeah, that's all.
But still somehow here, you're also developing your friends and, different kinds of things. So
especially
it's not like...
you live here 10 years,
Yeah,
right?
so it's not like you're making like a big effort by staying in China, to kind of good, because it's also like many other variables
The only thing,
Going
of
around
course,
you.
is as being an expat, but it's not really like China related. But it's
Yeah.
just like family, that you're far away from family. And I think as you get older, you know, family becomes like more and more important.
Now that you mentioned the expat sphere, just one more thing is like, what about the expat communities in China? Like, for example, I can tell you, and then you, in the minute, like when you think about the communities, for example, in Mexico, we have here in the WeChat groups, right? Viva Mexico, Shanghai, Mexicanos and Chino Mexicano. So there are many different groups of Mexicans living in China, in Shanghai, in Hangzhou, different places.
They're in Beijing.
Now you kind of like get together, get close.
Beijing.
Yeah, Beijing as well.
Yeah.
Big, less than 500, but 400 and something.
Same like the Swiss groups.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, we also have like the little WeChat groups, like Swiss
what do
and
you guys talk
Shanghai
about?
and
Fondue and
and raclette.
horrible. Fondue and
Chocolate.
raclette. No, I mean, what do you talk about? Like,
Just like general, like little tips, stuff to do, maybe little events. You know, like as example, the Swiss Chamber of Commerce always have like the Swiss ball, so people like invite there and small little like information and stuff.
okay.
But as we Swiss are always very serious.
Yeah, exactly. Like they send, instead of messages, send a screenshot of the business card, no? Please ask me something like that. Okay, yeah. So that's something that good that I actually like here in China, in Shanghai, in Beijing, big cities.
I mean, the thing is that foreigners
Very
here stick
cosmopolitan.
together
Yeah.
because life sometimes is not so easy. Maybe, you know, like banking is difficult, and like anything administrative is difficult.
Yeah.
Like some things, obviously, like it's still difficult here.
difficult, yeah.
So like, I think foreigners here tend to like stick together very strongly.
Yeah. Actually, I get to travel with Pascal. We were together, right?
Yeah,
we went
many
in
places.
2018. We went to India.
Wow,
Sri
that was a crazy.
Lanka.
You have some stuff on your on the channel on
Yeah,
India, right?
I think I have.
You guys
some.
have to check it out.
I have some. So we went to India, Sri Lanka,
Myanmar, Korea.
with Dima as well.
With Dima, he was
and
there.
then I think that's it.
That's it?
Yeah, maybe.
Laos, no.
No,
Cambodia,
I went on my
Myanmar,
own.
yeah.
And
Myanmar is
Cambodia, I went on
fantastic,
my own.
right? Myanmar was good.
So that's one
India
thing.
was also good.
India
Sri Lanka.
was amazing. We were there for a month. We were in many different areas in India.
Somebody got very sick.
But at least I get sick in the Pizza Hut.
And
He
not
got
in the
sick in the flight. So that was
So
good.
that's the thing. You just kind of
Yeah.
get sick once. You just need to know, and then it's okay.
They call it the belly. What is it called? The new
Indian belly?
No, the
Delhi belly.
Delhi belly.
Delhi belly.
When you get the Moctezuma, in Mexico it's called the Moctezuma something. Moctezuma shot out or something like that.
Like the La Dulce in Spanish.
Yeah, de la dulce.
La Dulce.
De la dulce. Okay, well, great. Just one more thing. Any final recommendations that you would say to people that is now looking into coming to China? What should they check? You know, like what steps should they take in order to come to China?
Yeah, so first of all, just come.
Okay.
Because you have nothing to
Just come.
lose. Right, just freaking easy. I mean, what's gonna happen? You just come here, you like it, you stay. If you don't like it, you just go back home. And that's it. You have nothing to lose. But you have a lot to gain, obviously. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
just like from an experience perspective, it's not even really related to China, right? But just get some experience and travel around a bit. And once you're in China, you can travel all of Asia so easily. So, I mean, just come here. And then I would say maybe, I think like the most important one thing that you have to do is like from the first day, just study Chinese.
Study Chinese, yeah.
Because that's like a mistake that we both did.
Yeah,
because we
in a
both
way.
kind of started to work.
Yeah.
Like I just came to China and then first day work.
Yeah.
And then I kind of like messed it up a bit with Chinese. I didn't like study very hard, very good. So now for 10 years already, I'm struggling with it. So I recommend everyone just come here. I mean, you have two options. Just every day, like your friend does, study like an hour or two Chinese, take classes. It's super cheap, unless you're in Shanghai. But in Xian, it's super cheap. As example, you can get like an hour of Chinese for like $10.
Even if expensive, you need to do it. It's an investment.
Just need to freaking do,
right? It's an investment.
And then work and do that, or you just go like study for a half year first. I mean, depends obviously on your age, but if you're a bit younger and you can like, you know, you have the time to afford that, just go study for a year and then you start to work.
Yeah, actually
it's worth much more than any salary you get within that year.
Actually, many of the scholarships that they give sometimes to students coming to China is the first year you come from zero. You don't even know to say ni hao, san, nothing. They come from zero. Then they learn 1 year until they reach the HSK4.
Within a year?
Within a year. And then
Wow.
that's for scholarships. And I know they were
but then
giving
that's
this
tough,
for
man.
yeah,
Like China studying this kind of stuff is tough.
but you are like 4 to 6 hours per day every day for 1 year.
Nah, it's
and then
fantastic.
if you pass the HSK4 after
You get
1 year,
another scholarship.
then you continue. It's the same scholarship, but then now it's not language. Then you continue with the actual degree.
So that would be
of
then
the
you study
university.
your bachelor or something.
Yeah, that's like the
exactly.
introduction to your bachelor's.
Yeah. But how does it work? Only if it's like a language program, or there scholarships for that? Only like just for a year of language?
Yeah, so whatever is the bachelor's that you're gonna be taking, for example, if it's like
But what if, like,
learning
let's say, if, not like for a bachelor, but if like we wanted to go study now, would there be scholarships for that? Let's say because some people maybe they're already like maybe 20, they don't really want to, they already studied, they just want to maybe work here.
I mean, you can check, but for example, I know in the Jiangsu province, where I'm now like officially located, there are many scholarships under 35 years old, under 30 years old,
So I could still
something like this. Yeah. So there are many things, you know.
So how would that work?
Coming up.
Like, do you know how the scholarships work? Do you get like money, or they just pay your tuition, or do you get like money also to live, or how does it work?
Oh yeah. So, well, I forgot. It's been some years ago, but I remember like they were giving small allowance. I think it was like 2,000-3,000 yuan per month.
No, I mean you can
Student, right?
2,000 yuan.
Student.
You're not gonna go like fancy, but you can live on it.
And then they will give you accommodation within the university, share.
So
of
free
course.
accommodation plus, that's fine. You can
And
live
then
on
you
it.
just need to keep your standards of
standards.
your grades. And then if you pass HSK1, HSK2, HSK3, say continue, and then after 3 years or whatever, then you have the degree of the bachelor's. That's for bachelor's.
You get like but you could make like a degree in Chinese language or what?
Yeah. Well,
but that's
there are two. Apparently, it depends because depending on your level of Chinese. But I think, what I know is like some foreign students, they still need to have some Chinese, maybe HSK4, even if the classes are in English. Because in some public universities where they give the scholarships, maybe some teachers, they're going to be speaking in Chinese anyways.
Yeah.
Even if it's supposed to be delivered in English, right?
language, yeah.
But then they still stick to the Chinese because most of the students are Chinese, so
anyways.
why should they even care? Yeah. So that's one thing. And another thing is like, so just have the levels of HSK. Normally, I think it goes from the HSK1 to the HSK6. Although,
I know they changed it recently, right?
Yeah, I think to
So
9.
I'm not like.
I think the
like
6 they
sure
divided
how it works
into different.
But I heard it's like a little bit more difficult now or something.
I think
it's like more
divided.
difficult at the beginning, and then at the end it becomes easier. Before it was like HSK 1, 2, 3 was like, I mean, 1 and 2 was super easy, and then 3 was okay, and then it started to get super difficult.
Yeah. Do you remember how many words?
It was like HSK 1 was like 150 words.
Yeah.
Then HSK 2 300.
Double.
And then it was like it was like 1,200 or something.
It was double. 150, 300, 600, 1,200 HSK4.
So you can imagine like to reach HSK 3 was like super easy. I mean, not super easy, but it was like doable, right? And then to reach like HSK 5 or 6 was
because it's exponential. It's like double, right? And also, so you have 150 words, HSK1.
Oh, so it's
double,
153, 6,
300, then
6,
double, 600,
12,
double,
24,
1200, and then double, 24. So that's what makes exponentially difficult. It's not just 3 more words.
Yeah, that's the thing, right?
And also from HSK 1 and 2, you have pinyin, HSK 3, 4, and above.
Yeah, you don't have
only the handset, the
that's
characters.
Okay,
Oh, yeah, that's one thing that you said correctly. Congratulations. Yeah, just to study Chinese because it's going to help you at some point anywhere. And also one more thing that I remember, in the Mexican group of the WeChat.
Hey, before little bracket, are you still studying your Chinese now?
Yeah, every Thursday. Yeah.
So I think
1 hour.
soon you're going to be much better than me, maybe.
我们看一下吧.
That means we'll see soon.
We'll see soon, okay? What I was gonna say? Oh yeah, so I know there are many more job opportunities if you speak Chinese. Actually, I've seen those opportunities now in Mexico. They want, we want someone that speaks Spanish and Chinese. Maybe someone speaks like German, Swiss German, and Chinese.
Yeah,
that'd be also very valuable.
Crazy, right? Of course.
Yeah, that'd be very valuable.
Same. I mean, that's everywhere in the world. I mean, yeah, once you speak Chinese now, that's very valuable.
That's gonna help anyways, anyhow, somehow, or whatever it is.
I guess so.
Well, and with that said, I would like to thank you very much.
A little
Oh yeah, that was one beer time.
That. Cheers,
Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much for inviting.
And see you guys next time. Maybe next time we sit together again, we'll talk about different topics. Whatever it is of the interest of the people about China and everything.
Yeah, maybe let us know also in the
Swiss,
comment section
China.
if you want to know something, or if you have some questions or something, right? Then maybe in the next video we can cover that.
Let's do that. All right. Cheers,
Cool.
mate. Thank
Cheers,
you.
mate. Thank you. Have a good time.